Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
Good evening and welcome to Core TV Primetime News. I am Ebunlomo Adekunle. In a major story, the presidency denies allegations that it is using the counterinsurgency operations by the military to boost the chances of President Goodluck Jonathan in the 2015 presidential election. Also in this program, the Bring Back Our Girls group marked the one-year anniversary of the federal government college Bunin-Yadi massacre of 59 male students by the Boko Haram sect. All Progressives Congress members of the House of Representatives staged a walkout at plenary after debate on troops deployment is stalled by PDP reps. Outside Nigeria, human rights group Amnesty International has called on the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council to drop the use of their veto for issues bordering on genocide and crimes on humanity. The presidency has denied claims that it deliberately delayed the military offensive against Boko Haram to boost the electoral chances of President Goodluck Jonathan. It also accused the All Progressives Congress of displaying hypocrisy and lack of sincerity in hailing the military and condemning the government. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Affairs, Doyin Okupe, said at a news conference in Abuja that the recent success of counterinsurgency operations had nothing to do with politics. He also accused APC of demeaning the military and criticizing measures adopted by the government.
Of the Nigerian military in the war against terror has been made possible by the following factors. One, there was deployment of specially trained anti-terrorism combat squad. You know, these people, these officers, military officers, were trained by some of our international collaborators. And, you know, it takes time. Some of them took 6 months, some of them took 9 months. But most of them that underwent such training have now been able to join the fighting force at the front. Two, as of now, it is obvious and is an incontrovertible fact that, you know, the military has acquired and we have been able to deploy more sophisticated and adequate and appropriate military hardware to our fighting forces. Three, and also perhaps very important, is the recent approval by the African Union and United Nations for a broad-based international coalition to collaborate with our military. This approval also gives legal authority and backing to our neighbors, that is Republic of Chad, Niger, and Cameroon, to lawfully deploy troops on Nigerian soil. There's no way Chad or Cameroon or Niger will deploy their soldiers into Nigeria, even upon our requisition. You know, and it's not done. You know, in diplomatic parlance, that cannot be done. You know, even though Chad and these are neighbors wanted to assist, you know, it took some time, but when they actually finally came on board, you know, they required some legal, they required some legal backing, some legal protocol. And this had only recently been given by the African Union and the United Nations. These are the 3 factors, or these are part of the factors that have actually made it, you know, to be possible for our soldiers to now achieve the successes which they currently have achieved. Regrettably, however, the All Progressive Congress, which has the unfortunate antecedent of siding with terrorists and criticizing measures adopted by government to tackle insurgency, as well as demeaning the Nigerian military, does not seem to be happy with these recent successes.
1 year after the massacre of 59 male students of the Federal Government College, Buninyadi, Yobe State, the Bring Back Our Girls group on Wednesday held a special sit-out session in their memory. At the gathering, many decried the continued show of lack of concern by the federal government towards the plight of the families that were affected, insisting that no lesson has been learned from the experience. Prayers were offered for their souls, for their families, the Chibok girls, as well as troops involved in counterinsurgency operations across the country, especially northeast Nigeria.
It's not time to really agonize or, but definitely these things that are happening are things that would have been avoided if really government was sincere and serious about the issue of Boko Haram up initial. And I believe that government has responsibility, and that is what we do as government officials. And the government should not have kept just quiet over this. Government should do something. I really don't know what exactly, but they should have done something to either make sure that this kind of incidents does not happen, or the parents should have been, something that the government will show kind of concern, because it's their responsibility anyway. These children were in the custody of the government when the issue happened.
Well, today is to commemorate the 1 year of the Buninyadi incident, because as you are well aware, there wasn't much publicity about it, and the country moved on almost immediately. In fact, the next day, the president hosted a centenary program where he had African heads of states, and he didn't, even at that point in time, remember these Buninyadi boys or their parents, not even 1 minute silence. And that has been the attitude.
Our government should have done differently, was to reach out immediately to these parents, console them, and look for a way to give them solace, because you cannot repay a life. Nobody can repay a life. But showing concern is very important, and it's a natural way of being human. Coming from the Northeast and a medical doctor, I believe a lot has been abandoned by our federal government.
University lecturers in Kano are demanding a thorough investigation into the circumstances that led to the killing of Professor Ahmed Falaki of the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. They are also demanding a public apology for the from the police authorities for describing the professor of agriculture and member of his entourage as Boko Haram insurgents. The Kano zone of the Academic Staff Union of University said in a statement that Professor Falaki was killed by policemen at Fala village in Tudunwada local government area of Kano. The lecturers insisted that their colleague, who was returning from Bauchi State, stopped at the village to change a flat tire when his car was snatched by gunmen. ASU members added that in spite of identifying himself to policemen chasing Boko Haram members, they beat him up and subsequently labeled him an insurgent in spite of not finding any weapon on him. He said, presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, has condemned the latest bombings in Yobe and Kano states, in which scores of innocent people were killed and many others injured. A statement issued by the Directorate of Media and Publicity of the APC Presidential Campaign Organization quoted Buhari as regretting that the latest Yobe bombing came on the eve of the first anniversary of the Buninyadi attack, where schoolboys were murdered in their dormitories. It said while the party's presidential campaign commends the efforts and sacrifices of counter-terrorism forces, there is need for greater vigilance and new strategies. APC presidential campaign also called for more and tougher strategies, adding that a situation where criminals outsmart the system is disturbing. It called on the federal government to take proactive steps to stem the frequency with which the terrorists or suicide bombers penetrate security cordon and checkpoints with ease. Opposition members of the House of Representatives on Wednesday staged a walkout from the chamber after a rowdy session over emotion on the deployment of soldiers for the forthcoming elections. The motion was raised by Femi Gbajabiamila, but members from the ruling party insisted that it cannot be discussed since the matter was in court. Deputy Speaker Emeka Ihedioha, who presided at the meeting, ruled in favor of the chairman, House Committee on Rules and Business, Sam Sokwa, who advised the House against deliberating on the motion. This led to a walkout by members of the opposition led by the minority leader, Femi Gbajabiamila. The police have arrested a female politician, Aisha Maijama, and 23 suspected political thugs she allegedly hired for an operation in the Tudunwada area of Kano State. She's said to be a member of the People's Democratic Party and a staunch member of the political camp of Bashir Lado, an incumbent federal lawmaker representing Kano Central. Briefing newsman on the development, Police Commissioner Ibrahim Idris said the suspected thugs were caught in the act with dangerous weapons.
We are not going to tolerate politicians while on procession or in campaign waving dangerous weapons or attacking each other. In the process, coercing, intimidating, innocent people within the community. We should realize that it's not only political actors that are inhabiting these states. We have innocent people that does not participate in these political activities. And I think they deserve to be left in peace.
I belong to the PDP. Why are you here? Why are you here?
I belong to the PDP.
And why are you here? Why are you at the police headquarters?
I'm here because I came to solicit for the release of the boys that were captured by the police because they went there to plaster some posters in my local government. And then somebody framed us that we are trying to kill somebody.
Did you send them?
I didn't send them.
Why did you want to be there for their release?
They are our boys. They are from our headquarters, PDP headquarters. As a mother, I should be concerned.
Are you telling us that they were being framed or what?
I am the one who is being framed, not them, because I'm a political figure.
So what's your name? Are you suspecting anybody?
And that is my name.
Are you suspecting anybody?
I cannot name names, but I can tell you that I am being framed, and God will see me through. But your recording voice is also, isn't it?
A Kaduna-based prominent Islamic preacher who was dragged to court by the former chief security officer to late head of state Sani Abacha, Sanusi Khalil, as squeezed by the DSS for 48 hours and released for alleged inciting statement. The Imam Sanusi Khalil is reported to have made a lot of inciting statements in the aftermath of the 2011 general elections. A source, however, confirms that he has been released after 48 hours in the custody of the DSS in Kaduna. Residents and traders of Musafejo area of the Popular Oshodi market of Lagos have been put on edge following recent development of a murderous power tussle between factions of the National Union of Road Transport Workers. Here is the report.
The fracas, the second in the last 10 days, left the Musafejo community in disarray and has disrupted business and commercial activities in the area. It has also resulted in loss of property. The area is now calm after the storm of the clashes, which allegedly erupted again in the early hours of Wednesday, with men of the Nigerian police force on hand to stop further disturbances. Some residents who spoke to Call TV News say lives have been under threat since this renewed violence.
Because we've been under siege for the past, I would say 3 weeks now, that this thing has been going on. Burning of houses here and there, before the police now call for reinforcement.
Traders also lamented a drop in business activities due to the clashes.
See, now we are unable to sell anything now. We can't sell anything. We can't sell, we can't buy. And our customers, if you are a customer, can you wait? Can you stay here?
It affected me today because of all these things make me today and no sell. And yeah, get shop here. So we know, sir, because of all this fight and everywhere there out there, as nobody will feel shed market because everybody is fearing.
Public Relations Officer of the Lagos State Police Command, Ken Nwosu, confirms the arrest of over 20 hoodlums who are currently facing trial in court. He added that arms and ammunition were also recovered from them, while assuring residents that normalcy will be restored to the area.
Let me use this opportunity to assure the residents of Oshodi and its environs that the operation that is ongoing right now, like I said, is comprehensive and it is in place, and the CP's directive is that until complete normalcy is restored in that vicinity, they will not leave. So let the residents not entertain any fear. We are quite aware of the situation, and that is why the activities in place there that is ongoing will remain there until complete normalcy, like I said earlier, is restored.
The residents who have been living in fear have, however, appealed to both the state and federal government to help in bringing peace to the area and restore their once booming businesses. Patience Ajiboye, Core TV News, Lagos.
Conflicting money figures and dates rock the hearing of the money laundering case of the former Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode. Oluwaseyi Adegoke was there and brought back this report.
The defense witnesses for the former Aviation Minister, Femi Fani-Kayode, the duo of Kola Olapoju and Aderemi Ajidaun, on the cross-examination by both the defense and prosecuting counsel, claimed the sum of 1 million and 1.5 million meant for the renovation of apartments was paid into the account of the accused on the 18th and 27th September 2006 respectively. But the account balance, according to the prosecution, did not reflect this reality, with the balance as at 28th of September 2006 being the sum of 8,558,000 naira. Counsel to Fani-Kayode, Ifedayo Awodipe, says is satisfied with the performance of defense witnesses.
The most important thing is to observe that our system is working. Somebody has been accused and the courts are there to listen to evidence, witnesses are presented, and the prosecutor has done his bit, and the accused person has been afforded the opportunity to present his case. And I can assure you we're impressed and we're satisfied with the proceedings.
The prosecuting counsel, Festus Keyamo, however, says the court will be the final judge.
The only duty I had was to extract all of these conflicts, and I did extract the conflicts in court, clearly in the face of the court. So the court will reach a conclusion as to who to believe and who to disbelieve. But I've done my job.
The case has been adjourned till 26th of March 2015. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, Core TV News, Lagos.
It's the Core TV Primetime News. We'll take a break and we'll be back with details of the approval of 9 new universities by the Federal Executive Council. Please don't go away.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on Core TV News.
Thank you for being there. And if you're just joining us, it's the Core TV Primetime News. And here is a reminder of the major stories. The presidency denies allegations that it is using the counter-insurgency operations by the military to boost the chances of President Goodluck Jonathan in the 2015 presidential elections. The Bring Back Our Girls group marked the one-year anniversary of the federal government college Bunin-Yadi massacre of 59 male students by the Boko Haram sect. All Progressives Congress members of the House of Representatives stage a walkout at plenary after debate on troops deployment is stalled by PDP representatives. And for more news and other information, you can visit our social media platforms. On Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle @CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, then news. The Federal Executive Council has approved 9 new private universities for the country. The approval was given at a meeting presided over by Vice President Namadi Sambo. Minister of Aviation Osita Chidoka, who briefed journalists on the outcome of the meeting, said the new universities include Michael and Cecilia Ibru University and Hallmark University.
At this meeting, approved the establishment of 9 new private universities across the country. The 9 new universities are Augustine University, Ilara, Lagos State; Chrisland University, Owode, Ogun State; Christopher University, Mowe, Ogun State; Hallmark University, Ijebu-Itele, Ogun State; King's University, Odeomu in Osun State; Michael and Cecilia Ibru University, Orode in Delta State; Mountain Top University, Makogi Oba in Ogun State; Ritman University, Ikorepene in Akwa Ibom State; and Summit University, Ofa in Kwara State.
Despite the shelving of the industrial action by the national body of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, the Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti wing of the union has vowed to go ahead with the strike action. The union's leadership in Ado-Ekiti says though some of its specific demands have been met, most of the agitations are yet to be resolved. Rashid spoke with the union's leadership in Ado-Ekiti and filed in this report.
The whole nation has been gripped with the apprehension of another face-off between the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics and the federal government until the impending strike was suspended. But on the side of the teaching staff of the Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti, protest, lecture boycott is still on course, though the Education Minister has addressed some of their demands, like the illegal proscription of unions.
We were told originally that the council, the governing council of Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti and the management have proscribed our union, but the Honorable Minister now has given a directive that for OCO, because we have something similar related issues, that OCO and Ado-Ekiti chapter, the union again should now be allowed to operate fully.
That the federal government has approved the continuous payment of the staffs on salary and emolument structure of Counties 15, the Ado-Poly leadership says their demands are far beyond Counties 15 and vow continuous action against the management.
We have peculiar problems. There are so many issues that we are trying to trash with our management. But it seems as if our management, the summary of it, the way I see it, is that their management does not even like that word, let us sit down together, let us reason together. We are still on strike until she does all that is what we call the needful.
As the 7-week-old strike continues, the fate of the students of Ado Polytechnic still hangs in the balance, not minding the directive of the national leadership of the Teaching Staff Union. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
In the build-up to the 2015 general elections, the Oyo State chapter of the Independent National Electoral Commission has reassured residents of its commitment to make the elections free and fair for all. At a sensitization meeting organized by the Commission for religious leaders in the state, the resident electoral commissioner Rufus Akeju advised them to use their position as opinion leaders to advise their followers not to sell their votes and desist from political thuggery. Omotayolo has details.
As the new date of the general elections draws near, the electoral body in Oyo, as part of its effort to conduct a free and fair poll, has brought clerics of both the Muslim and Christian faiths together to update them on the level of preparedness of the Commission, as well as charge them on the roles to play for the overall success of the elections. The Electoral Commissioner, Rufus Akeju, took time to explain the list of offences that could be committed on election day telling the leaders to educate their followers so as not to fall victim.
We promise Nigeria and the world, all of Africa, that we are going to give you the freest, most acceptable election that has ever happened in this country and probably in the whole of Africa, that you will be proud of. That is, when the result is announced, you will not be crying. You'll be saying, yes, this is the person I voted for.
Akeju urged the clerics to encourage their followers to get their permanent voter cards, stressing that the electronic card readers, which should be used to verify eligible voters on the day of election, leaves no room for any form of malpractice. After an exhaustive interactive session between the religious leaders and officials of INEC, this Christian leader tells residents to vote with their conscience and advise politicians to be civil and desist from evil conduct before, during and after the election.
We have politicians going all over the place, giving one thing or the other to everybody. But I believe Nigeria has come of age. You can't force anybody to do what he or she does not want to do.
For the Muslim clergy, INEC may not have impressed most Nigerians with its surely preparation towards the elections, but citizens should ensure they make peaceful conduct a priority while exercising their civic rights.
We don't want to rig. Let people go and free for violence. We need free election. That's what we want.
As the electoral body continues its sensitization round with different groups in the state on its expectations, the outcome of such engagements will only be known on the day of elections. Omotayo Alo, Core TV News, Ibadan.
The statement that Muhammadu Buhari will never become president, credited to the governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, has started generating reactions, with the governor saying he stands by his words. The Buhari campaign team in Ekiti State has called for the arrest of Fayose over an alleged move to truncate the electoral process in the country. Rashid has more from Ado Ekiti.
The war of words between the PDP and APC in Ekiti State shows no signs of abating, with the statement credited to Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose that Buhari will never be president again, adding further fuel to the fire. The Buhari campaign team in the state says there is more to the statement than meets the eye, but the governor's media team says the governor is right.
It's a statement of fact. Buhari, from all indication, is too old for that office.
Fayose is not God. It is an issue being drawn too far. If you have been saying somebody is going to die, you are not the creator. If people say they are going to vote for Buhari and you are saying it's not going to be, that means that person must, it has to be questioned. Maybe he has a sinister motive.
The APC also accused Fayose of being obsessed with Buhari, but the Ekiti State government says Fayose is being patriotic in his submissions.
He was the one saying that Buhari is in the hospital, Buhari is in the lecture room, Buhari is in the toilet. So if somebody is tailoring, is monitoring our presidential candidate all over UK, not even Nigeria now, what do you want us to deduce from that?
It is of necessity that Fayose must come out with the truth and to educate Nigerians so that we are not led astray.
The Buhari campaign team says the security agencies should probe Fayose, but the state government says it is a case of crying wolf where there is none.
To the president of this country and the security agency, they should, keep watch over the personality of Mr. Fayose, who is all out to see that the presidential candidate of APC does not become the president of this country.
The APC can call him whatever they like, but that would not deter him from speaking the truth.
With the general election some weeks away, the war of words promises to get hotter and more fierce as the stakes get higher. Rashid, Core TV News, Ado Ekiti.
Edo State Governor Adams Oshiomhole says the People's Democratic Party in the state has perfected plans to rig the forthcoming general elections on March 28th and April 11th. According to the governor, some PDP chieftains have made overtures to senior military officers to assist them in ensuring that PDP thugs are given easy passage during the polls to carry out the alleged rigging plot. Oshiomhole said politicians are already making contacts with senior military officers under the 4th Brigade, asking them to assist their thugs in buying armbands of various colors to distinguish People's Democratic Party thugs from All Progressives Congress, to also have special stickers that will be used in identifying the people. The governor appealed to the military to resist being used to subvert the will of the people, adding that the failure of the country to get our acts right on free and fair election has made her the butt of jokes even on the African continent. The governor, who was speaking while welcoming the general officer commanding the 2nd Division of the Nigerian Army, Sanusi Nasir Muazu, the general officer commanding 2 Division Ibadan, to his office, says the state will continue to work with armed forces as an integral part of the move to ensure free, fair and credible elections. In his remarks, the general officer commanding 2 Division Nigerian Army commended the governor for his developmental strides and his support to the officers and men of the Nigerian Army in the state. The Senate has shifted the screening and confirmation of 8 ministerial nominees till next Tuesday. The postponement was to enable senators deliberate on the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper already slated in the order paper. All the nominees were already in the National Assembly complex before the Senate decided to defer the screening. There are, however, indications that the Senate has received 2 petitions against Obanikoro's nomination. One of the petitions centered around the former minister's alleged role in the August 2014 Ekiti governorship poll. Some market women from Lagos on Wednesday showed up at the National Assembly complex to drum up support for the ministerial nomination of Senator Musiliu Obanikoro. The former Minister of State for Defense was to be screened alongside 7 others for cabinet positions, but the Senate deferred the screening to another day. But this did not stop the women and a handful of men from showing solidarity with a man they described as the pillar of support. They also insisted to Core TV News that they were not paid to hold placards in support of Obanikoro.
Well, we are here in support of our ambassador, Senator Obanikoro, because he has been good to women in times of empowerment. So when we hear that today is his screening, we now said, okay, I have to organize my women for solidarity support.
Are these women all from Lagos?
Yes, they are from different local governments in Lagos. And as you know, it's not only Yoruba. Me, I'm speaking to you, I'm a Yoruba from Lagos. It's not only Yoruba people that are in Lagos. We are Igbo, we are Hausa. That's how we mix all of them here.
The good things that have benefited from him, that is why we have decided, few of us, it is not all that have benefited, really. But few of us that have benefited, and some of our friends that have benefited, have also joined to make sure that we are here to show and to support the solidarity that we are in support of him to come back as a minister.
We'll be back after this time out with business, sports and other stories from outside Nigeria. Please don't go away.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, our 24-hour news station.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabana Izoku.
The equities transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today to close at 30,195.56 basis points. The market capitalization increased to close at 10.07 trillion naira. On the gainers side, Seplat Oil topped the gainers chart, followed by Julius Berger, United Africa Company of Nigeria, Guaranty Trust Bank, and Union Bank of Nigeria. On the losers side, 40 Oil topped the losers chart, followed by Nigerian Breweries, Stanbic IBTC, West African Production Company, and Owando Oil. For the top traders, First Bank of Nigeria Holdings topped the traders chart, followed by Access Bank, Guaranty Trust Bank, Eco Transnational Incorporation, and United Bank of Africa. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here is the currency trade for today. We'll continue with the business stories. The Federal Cabinet has given its consent for the residents' anticipatory approval to obtain a $100 million credit from the French Development Agency in support of Lagos Integrity Urban Development Project. It also ratified a similar facility of $200 million for River State for the proposed Port Harcourt water supply and sanitation project, and African Development Fund credits of $5 million to support urban water sector reform project, while the Lagos loan has a repayment plan of 20 years, including a 7-year moratorium. That of Rivers is 15 years, with a moratorium of 5 years. The Council also approved an Islamic Development Bank loan of $65 million for Osun State, as well as $33.174 million credit facility from the French Development Agency to support the Ogun State water supply project.
For financing of the water supply and sanitation project in Osun State. The Council also ratified the presidential approval to obtain $70 million credit facility and associated grants of $15 million in support of the Climate Change Adaptation and Agribusiness Support Program from International Fund for Agricultural Development. Also, Council ratified the anticipatory approval to obtain $100 million credit from the French Development Agency in support of Lagos Integrated Urban Development Project. The $33.174 million credit from the French Development Agency in support of Ogun State water supply project. Council also ratified a presidential approval for obtaining of $131.5 million loan and African Development Bank support in support of Port Harcourt water supply and sanitation in favor of Rivers State government.
And away from that, the Senate is taking a drastic cut in cost of governance after approving the 2015 to 2017 medium-term expenditure framework. It has also pegged crude oil benchmark for 2015 budget at $52 a barrel. Senators unanimously approved the report of a joint Senate committee that considered the fiscal framework after intense debate.
Natural Resource Development account and all the other accounts that we are able to know, because there are so many that we may not know. We have funds for the generality of Nigerians, and with this, I support the submission of a Committee on Finance, even though it's said that we have to take the benchmark at 52.
It's now volume of money with less purchasing power and not value of money. Secondly, the cost of goods and services, which we defend. For instance, rice, we imported a great quantity of it. The price is going to rise because of the exchange rate. Already, the automobile industry market, they have already increased the price by vehicles that used to sell by 2.1, 2.2 million are now selling at 3.1 million. they have increased the price by about 30 to 40%.
So we believe that we need to reshape our economy. We need to emphasize some other areas, including taxation, science and technology, agriculture, and tourism. So it is time for us to begin to see other areas of expenditure that we need to prop up.
What this clearly shows is that we all have to tighten our belts across the entire sectors of this government. We have, for the last several years, relied on oil as the main source of our revenue, and I know that budget after budget in this country, we've said we'll diversify the economy,
Well, that's much we can take for business news now. Let's join Bronson Uwano for sports stories.
Power style, that's what he delivered. Puyol with a flying lead.
Taking them out in the lead.
Thanks for joining us on our Sport News tonight. I am Bronson Uwano. Frenchman Gamot Roy has been appointed the new coach of the Stallion of Burkina Faso ahead of Stephen Keshi, who also applied for the position. The 61-year-old Roy will thus replace Belgian Paul Put, who was fired after a disappointing 2015 African Cup of Nations in Equatorial Guinea. The vastly experienced coach has previously handled Gabon and the Niger Republic. Keshi has handled Togo and Mali. He is yet to finalize a new deal with Nigeria after his initial 3-year contract ended after the World Cup in Brazil last year. Meanwhile, Coach Stephen Keshi's new deal with Nigeria will pay him 3 million naira a month, with a huge pay cut from the 5 billion naira he earned in previous contract. NFF Vice President Barrister Seyi Akinwumi was yesterday returned unopposed to the Lagos FA elections held in Ekpe, Lagos, under the provision of NFF board member Barrister Chris Green. Akinwumi, alongside newly elected president of the Nigerian Referee Association, Tade Aziz, were both returned unopposed as chairman and vice chairman respectively. Also making a return to the ESCO of the state FA is immediate past vice chairman of Lagos State Swan, Wale Joseph, Mojid Adegbindi, and Olatunde Green. FIFA says it will not pay compensations to clubs and leagues unhappy about plans to play the 2022 Qatar World Cup in November and December. It also said no apologies was necessary for the scheduling of the tournament, which will disrupt a number of league games. The FIFA task force has recommended the 2022 World Cup take place in winter to avoid Qatar's hot summer temperatures. FIFA's executive committee will meet in Zurich next month to ratify the task force recommendations. Volker also suggested that a 2022 World Cup finals on 23rd December was looking increasingly likely. And now to some international footballing news. The Greek government has suspended professional football in the country indefinitely. The move follows violence at a match between rivals Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, as well as a brawl between the officials at a brand meeting on Tuesday. The Greek league has already been suspended twice this season due to violence. New elected ruling party Syriza has pledged to stamp out the problem. The suspension affects the top 3 divisions in the country. Finally, on our sport news tonight, 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso has left hospital following Sunday's crash in Testing. The 33-year-old McLaren driver has returned to his family home in Spain for further rest and recuperation. As a result, he will miss the 3rd and final testing session, which is due to start on Thursday in Barcelona. McLaren said Kelvin Magnussen will now share testing duties with Jenson Button at the Circuit de Catalunya, the scene of the Alonso's accident. And that's a wrap on our sport news tonight. Very big thanks for watching. I am Bronson Uwano.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down. Explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
And now outside Nigeria, Amnesty International has urged the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council to give up their power of veto in cases where atrocities are being committed. The rights group said the global response to an array of catastrophes in 2014 had been shameful. Richer countries were guilty of taking an abhorrent stance by not sheltering more refugees. Salil Shetty, the organization's Secretary General, said in a statement that the United Nations Security Council had miserably failed to protect civilians. Instead, the Council's 5 permanent members, the UK, China, France, Russia and the US had used their veto to promote their political self-interest or geopolitical interests above the interest of protecting civilians. And that's it on Core TV Primetime News. But before we go, a quick recap of our major stories. The presidency has denied allegations that it is using the counter-insurgency operations by the military to boost the chances of President Goodluck Jonathan in the 2015 presidential elections. We also reported that the Bring Back Our Girls group marked the 1-year anniversary of the Federal Government College Buniyadi massacre of 59 male students by the Boko Haram sect. Finally, all Progressives Congress members of the House of Representatives staged a walkout at plenary after debate on troops deployment is stalled by PDP representatives. And that's it on the Primetime News. Thank you so much for watching. I am Ebulomo Adekunle.